Ranma returns the car he wrecked in his fight with the mad pigs. He then pays a visit to the grave of an Akira Dobashi. He begins thinking back to 3 years prior, when he was working solo and questioning if his line of work was even worth it. He encounters Lau, a childhood friend turned mafioso who takes a cut of the detective pay in exchange for people looking the other way while he investigates. Lee, another member of the mafia, also passes by, with Lau indicating a rivalry between the two. As Ranma plays pool with Akira, he says he's on the verge of quitting. Akira offers him a job courtesy of Lau, that being to track the address of one of 4 people for him. The person in question is Rella. Thanks to one of his contacts, Rat, Ranma is directed to the Casablanca bar. Upon arriving, he's greeted by Rella, blind drunk. He takes Rella home, with Dorothy about as grateful as she can be towards him. Akira's given Rella's details and he heads to Lau. Kathy, Akira's wife, feels he's biting off more than he can chew, even if she is pregnant. As Akira returns, he informs Ranma that 3 of the people he tailed were killed and exposed as drug dealers. Ranma decides to investigate in his place, suspecting Akira will be on the hit list. He runs into Rella, who came to return his jacket. She mentions a man in sunglasses tried to pick her up when she was in Akira's bar. A pair of Lau's men attack Ranma and Rella. Hijacking a taxi, Ranma learns that Rella's a pretty good shot. Ranma heads to Rat, who redirects them to either Tinkerbell or Pinocchio. Ranma chooses the latter, but with his funds all he can learn is that he's already met the man Rella described. Rella thinks back and remembers the man also had a scar, leaving Ranma to realise it was Lee. Ranma races back to Akira's, but Kathy mentions he's talking with Lau. He tells Kathy to get out of Kirin, as Akira's definitely in danger. Lau has Akira tied up, promising a quick death once he finishes business with their boss alongside Lee. Their boss being one Son Taijin. Ranma and Rella attack Lau's hideout and free Akira. Upon learning of this, Son Taijin has Lau gunned down. Fearing he's next, Lee begins a search for Akira, spotting him in the back of the taxi. Ranma reaches the airport only for Akira to be shot as he runs to Kathy. Thankfully, Akira had a bulletproof vest, but Lee was none the wiser. In the present day, he and Kathy meet with Ranma and they decide to play a few rounds of pool. Not a bad story of how everyone met up. Plus it's nice to have a story of Ranma and Rella working together as separate people, even if this is going to be the only instance in the series from this point. Also gives a bit more of a personal grudge for Ranma against Son Taijin, what with Lau being killed by him. I'm sure even if he was Mafia at that point, Ranma probably still considered Lau a friend on some level. A man is killed by a hitman known as Angel. His dying word, Maria, leads Angel to discover a girl sleeping. Meanwhile, due to low funds, Ranma's stuck cleaning the floors at Papillon. As Wendy gives him the runaround, he trips on a bag containing a model car, which she says he may as well have as its previous owner, Tony, was killed 3 months prior. Next day, Rella wakes up thinking Ranma spent their money on the car and tosses it. Needing food, she visits Dorothy, who tells her that her father is ill. Rella suspects it's all a ploy to go back home, so she decides to eat elsewhere. Unfortunately, her credit card's been cut off. Ranma wakes up to the phone ringing. A woman named Emily wants him to investigate her husband in Japan, suspecting he has Yakuza ties. She's willing to provide a cash retainer as well as a plane ticket to Japan. Problem is, it's a plane ticket to Japan. Worse still, someone steals Ranma's belongings as soon as he touches down. Wendy gets paid a visit by members of the Kuroshione family demanding the model car, only for them to learn Ranma has it. Ranma decides to pawn it off, but can only get 1,000 yen from it due to some writing on the bottom. A man named Kantaro offers more for it, which allows Ranma to get a kimono for Rella's infiltration. The Kuroshione men manage to track Ranma down as he's headed to the Fujiyama, the site of his case. He manages to escape there and hides in a bathroom as midnight strikes. Despite her annoyance at being dragged into the case, Rella gets into costume to scope out the target. Turns out the Yakuza in question is Kantaro, last name Shirayuki. Rella realises that Emily was Dorothy in disguise and learns that her father's got a potential suitor set up for her. She shocks him unconscious by claiming she and Ranma have a child and heads out. Kuroshione contacts his men, demanding them to get the model car and track down Angel. Rella still hasn't eaten in some time, so she heads to her family mansion to grab some funds. Noticing blood on the door's keypad, she discovers an injured Angel, recognising him under the name Amano. Kuroshione's men have tracked him down, so Rella grabs a car and escapes with Angel. Rella admits to feeling betrayed by a past incident, as well as curious to the girl's identity. Angel says that she's Maria and can't hear or speak. Kuroshione's men catch up and the car falls to pieces, not really designed for high-speed chases. Angel takes a gamble and shoots a tyre to steer them off the highway bridge. He then draws the men away, leaving Rella and Maria underneath. She dreams of her past, a time when she was accepted into university at 15 years of age. She wakes up to the sight of her father, who has a suitor ready. Said suitor turns out to be, of course, Aramis. Meanwhile, Kuroshione has arrived in Japan himself, hinting at some kind of treasure there. Dorothy's been lamenting Rella's line of work for ages on the behest of her father, so it was nice to actually get a chance to finally see who he is. Also interesting to see a bit more on Rella's backstory and previous ties too. Certainly gives a bit more meaning to a thrill-seeking streak. Kantaro considers Aramis a prime marriage candidate for Rella due to him saving his life. What he doesn't know is that it was all dumb luck on Aramis's part. Rella storms out, but she and Aramis suffer an electric shock. Kantaro's fitted them with wristbands that activate when they're more than 3 meters apart. A little gift from Dorothy. On the plus side, Rella finally gets a decent meal. Also turns out Aramis knows of Angel, who was in the Kuroshione family until recently. After paying a visit to her mother's grave, Rella tells Aramis and Maria about how she's known Angel since her childhood. Her turning point was when a rival family's hitman killed her mother, learning in that moment she was a Yakuza princess, only for Angel to save Rella from the hitman at the last second. Rella takes a shower, transforming right as Aramis wakes up. Rella's video message brings Ranma up to speed on Dorothy's trap and Maria's situation. Kantaro also pays a visit, finally learning Ranma's identity. Ranma's chased outside, unaware Kuroshiyone's men have caught up. Ranma's cornered by Kantaro in an alley, and Kuroshiyone's men also close in. In the ensuing fight, Ranma's wristband comes off, so he dresses up the unconscious Aramis as himself and sends everyone after him instead. As Ranma leaves, he encounters Angel, who's in bad shape. He tends to Angel back at the Fujiyama, who thanks him for looking after Maria, dropping a second model car. Kuroshione leads a direct attack on the Shirayuki household. Midnight's approaching, so Ranma leaves for Rella to take over. Rella drives back to her father's, asking about how Angel got tied up with Maria. She learns that the patriarch of the Kuroshione family died, leaving the clue to a cache of gold on a pair of model cars. The writing alludes to his 2 sons, one of which was Tony, the man Wendy mentioned was killed. Carlo, the youngest son, is on the hunt for the model cars, and his underling, Maria's father, was in possession of one. Angel intends to use the gold to fund a surgery to restore Maria's hearing and escape to give her a normal life. Arriving at the Shirayuki household, they discover Kantaro has been taken captive. Angel and Rella shoot their way through, but Maria wanders off. Angel disarms Kuroshione, demanding the model car for himself. As Kantaro chastises his daughter for putting herself in danger, Maria enters the room. Angel takes a shot aimed at her. His dying request is for Kantaro to adopt Maria into the Shirayuki family. Back in Kirin, Rella has some choice words for Dorothy, though she does learn that Maria's surgery is going ahead. The treads on the wheels of the two cars reveal the location of the gold, so Rella decides to donate it off. When there's organised crime, there's a tragedy in the making. I think it was inevitable for Angel not to make it to the end of the story, but at least he was able to achieve his goal. Managed to work in Tony's death to the overarching plot pretty nicely too, especially as the car's importance comes into play. As said earlier, it's nice seeing Rella's past, and pretty clear how she's grown into what she is now, what with everything that happened to her. Next time, we head to the final episode focusing on escorting a girl around town, and the reveal of Alice's organisation, as well as Dr. Grimm and the reason behind the Midnight Transformation. Until then,